By definition, a placeholder is a person or thing in your life that occupies the position or place of another thing. If you've never seen me before and you clicked on my video, that in itself is probably a telltale sign that you have had enough of your current place of employment. But it's all good because we're going to just look into 5 things. And you may have already come across these when you were doing your research, and maybe you just wanted a visual video to confirm that what you're feeling, don't worry, I got you. And for the rest of you who have clicked this video because you've just come back to see what, you know, we're always going to have a good time. But today it's not a good time for the people that are watching this video with intent because they've had enough potentially of the place where they're working. The job you have might be blocking your blessing. And so the confirmation that you are seeking, by the time we get to the end of our list, you might feel like, actually, I'm making a big deal of it. However, I have the feeling that most people will be like, yeah, I'm done. But let's get into it. 5 signs. Number 1, you experience chronic emotional drain or dread. We all experience stress at some point in our lives, especially when it comes to our place of employment. If it's not your passion in life, there will be moments, yeah, I'm getting stressed out. But this type of stress, yeah, now we're talking about your mental health. It is just declining and going downhill. You're anxious. You're emotionally exhausted. When you go on annual leave, you dread the thought of having to return back. Sundays are not fun for you. You spend the Sunday just sitting in anxiety, worrying about the fact that you even have to return. Number 2, it has a toxic or unsupportive environment. I don't know about you, but I don't like toxic anything. Friendship, relationship, workplace, whatever the case. I don't do toxic. The Bible says seek peace and pursue it. If a place, a person, a job does not bring me peace, but rather brings me the exact opposite, listen, I'm just going to be making my plans in the background and eventually I will disappear because it's not my portion. I want to live long. And when you spend most of your life sad and unhappy and depressed and anxious, it is not going to be well with you. And what do I mean anyway by toxic or unsupportive environment? Hopefully the name speaks for itself. But to give examples, poor leadership. We have all been there. Don't care who you are in the world. We have all had or experienced poor management, especially if the leadership are toxic themselves. Like they're not here for people. They're not interested. They don't really care about people's well-being. I've heard some horror stories. Like I can only imagine what it must be like working with someone like that. I've got to spend most of my week with you. At the end of the day, this is not a marriage. I'm sorry. I don't need to try. Don't need counseling. It's okay. Where's the exit? There could be discriminatory practices, poor communication, little cliques. You start to feel like an outsider. A whole bunch of people in your department, they go to lunch together every day and no one ever asks you if you want to come. What sort of life is that? Like it is just a very negative environment. You just feel drained. Sit there asking yourself, why am I here? When a workplace has that type of toxic environment or is unsupportive, it will erode your confidence and your enthusiasm for the job. It will. What are we doing there? Anyway, moving on, because I could say a lot about that. Number 3, no work-life balance. All your time is spent working. I know people who will work on their days off, work on annual leave, work on the beach. Is it your father's business? If it is, then fair enough. If it's not, why? It's affecting your sleep. It's affecting your own social life, family responsibilities. You don't even have energy to spend time now to sit with your kids and do some fun stuff. They want to watch a film and you are conked out. What type of life is that? Eventually, when you keep on just overworking yourself, it's going to lead to burnout, health issues, and it's definitely going to lead to resentment because now you're just going to be vexed because all you lot do is take my time, live, eat, and breathe work. Everything in life should be balanced. And if you're spending most of your time at work, even when you're at home, you're just working all the time. Unless it's your own business, I get it. If you're an entrepreneur, if you are doing something for yourself, I understand. But when you're working for an organization and you have your contract, you're fulfilling your duties within the required hours, why are we still doing struggle work life? Even in our own time. Of course, you're going to be unhappy. Number 4, I feel like this is most people. Most people that will stick in a job, and I'm sure you know what I'm coming to say. You will stay there out of financial necessity. You're just going through the motion. You haven't really got real interest in the job, the duties, the company, the people. Because I got bills. My mortgage is due on the 27th. My energy bill is due on the 15th. My council tax. Because of the heaviness of all these financial responsibilities that you have, you feel stuck. Like you're almost scared of change. When I remember, like I needed to get paid in the middle of the month. And moving to a company that would pay me on a different date, for all of my financial responsibilities, it would have just been a complete and utter wahala. I stayed in a comfort zone for a minute, just off of that alone. So I absolutely get it. When you've got financial responsibility and it's not just a quick, we're not 20 anymore, unless you are. If you're like a millennial like myself, you can't just necessarily make them type of decisions when you've got so much riding on it. But if you are just staying there purely for your check every month and nothing else, it's a big telltale sign. Number 5, you start to experience physical or physiological problems. Listen, the body doesn't lie in it. If something is not right with your spirit, your body will start to manifest what is happening on the inside. And if you are not happy, your health, your mental well-being, everything is just going to be off center. You feel fatigued. Maybe you get headaches. You feel nothing but hopelessness, irritability, anxiety, depression. All in all, inside and out, you are not in a good place. Our bodies and our minds will often tend to signal discomfort before we are even consciously aware. So if you just are feeling some way, even the fact that you have to go and have a conversation, these discussion forums, you're watching videos like mine, what other sign do you need? If the place is just bringing you complete misery, it's time to call it a day. Your health, your well-being, your life is worth so much more than any job you could ever have. If we're going to spend most of our time doing something, it might as well be something that we have interest in. Otherwise, we are just being functional. We're not being fruitful. The Bible says, be fruitful and multiply in it. Now that I've been on both sides of the coin, listen, it's a very different experience. I used to stay up all night when I was doing certain office jobs. Not all of them. Some of them were actually all right. Anxious and just looking at the clock thinking, it's almost tomorrow. Now I struggle to sleep because I am so excited to wake up and do the things that I actually have a passion for. So you're probably wondering, should I quit? Should I just throw in the towel? Before you decide on how you're going to move forward, I want you guys to listen to an interview that Stephen Bartlett gave, how he would determine whether it is worth quitting something.
Why is quitting important? In life, we glamorize starting, right? But my observation was that the advantage I've had, as I've said, was being able to quit fast and eat with peace and ease. And when you just think logically about starting something, right? In order to start something in life, you actually first need to quit something else. So you can't start a new relationship unless you quit the last one. You're not going to start a new startup unless you've quit the last one. You're not going to start a new career unless you've quit the last job. So quitting and starting should be held in equal regard. And there should be acknowledgement that they have a two-way relationship with one another. They're both the actions of winners. If you look at what I've quit from, like, stop going to school because I realized that wasn't going to be the paper that I got at the end of the process wasn't going to be enough, especially compared to my brothers. Quit university after that first lecture, quit my first startup after 2 years, quit my second one after about 6 years, and lots of little quitting in and amongst there. Why was I able to quit with peace at times when objectively you would think I was a madman for doing so, when I was leaving so much apparently on the table? And so I tried to make a framework that other people could use to try and make their quitting decisions through. So at the start of the framework, you ask yourself, am I thinking of quitting? So if you are thinking of quitting, the framework begins. And I created these 2 subcategories, which you can define for yourself, which I think is important to do. You're either thinking of quitting something because something's really hard, like it's difficult, which would be, you're running a marathon and you're on the 23rd mile and you're doing it, to raise money for a charity, but it's painful, it's difficult, it's causing discomfort. Or you're thinking about quitting something because it sucks, and that's more of like an emotional, mental thing. It just doesn't feel good to you on an emotional, mental, psychological level. So let's go down the hard route. I'm thinking of quitting because it's hard. The first question you should then ask yourself is the hardship worth the rewards on offer? So you're running that marathon, you're raising money for that leukemia charity, you're on the 23rd mile, but it's worth it. The hardship is worth the reward at the end of it. If the hardship is worth it, don't quit. If the hardship isn't worth it, then you should quit. Because the worst thing to do in life is to do something that is hard and meaningless.
There's the hard it's hard because the whole thing just sucks. And then there's the hard that it's painful and it's difficult, but actually it is worth it. You could be somewhere where you are doing something that aligns with your own personal values, etc. But it could be you're doing the right thing in the wrong place. And actually there might be another organization who would benefit more from your skills, your talents, and they will treat you like they actually do value you. Sometimes you just want to get out of the place that you're at because it is so toxic, etc. And you do want a company that are going to value you. So it is something that you do have to give thought. What are your next steps? Are you going to aim to start walking in your passion, your purpose? If you decide to do that, can you afford to take a pay cut? Because usually that is what prevents people from coming away from somewhere and fully investing into the thing that they truly do want to do. If you can't afford a pay cut, are there changes that you can make to structure your finances in a way where you actually can afford a pay cut? Or perhaps you're limiting yourself because of your age. Scrap all that. I say it all the time. Today is the youngest that you will be for the rest of your life. So if you don't do something now, when are we going to take its steps? Ultimately, before you do anything, it is important to decipher exactly what it is that you're passionate about. And not everyone knows that. It took me ages to get. I didn't come into the realization until I got to my early 30s. Everyone's arrival point at that destination will vary from person to person. It doesn't make your chances any less. Yes, the journey might be a bit more challenging, but you can still achieve the thing that you want to do. And there's actually a great website that I used many years ago. By filling out a questionnaire, they give you a summary of roles that are suited to your values, your personality. I'm going to share that link in the description box below. So please do have a crack at it if this is something that you have been thinking to yourself. There is something that Oprah said that I also think is a great place to start.
Just inside myself, think, what do I really want to do? What I really want to do. And I will say this, knowing what you don't want to do is the best possible place to be if you don't know what to do. Because knowing what you don't want to do leads you to figure out what is it you really do want to do.
Knowing what you don't want to do is a fantastic guide for helping you to figure out exactly what you do want to do. Is the hardship worth the rewards on offer? Because there is nothing worse in life than doing something that is hard and also meaningless. It's a bright new day. You're here with your girl, Miss Annie J. I'm gonna give them what they want because I came to slay. And nothing's ever gonna take my joy away. I'm about that life.